What if the love you've been desperately searching for was never meant to be found in someone else? What if the very things you're hiding, your flaws, fears, and failures, are the exact keys to the connection you crave? And what if becoming whole on your own isn't just the first step to love, but the entire path? This journey hasn't just been about understanding love. It's been about transforming how you see yourself, so the love you attract is authentic, lasting, and free of illusion. No one will fully love you until you understand yourself. That might sound tough, but in a world constantly pushing the idea that you need someone else to be complete, the truth is surprisingly empowering and a bit counterintuitive. We've been told love is about finding the one to fix us, complete us, carry us through. But what if the missing piece you've been searching for has always been within you? Stoic philosophy reveals a deeper truth. Love doesn't start with someone else. It starts with you. Not the polished version of you that seeks approval, but the raw, honest, self-aware version that stands firmly in your own worth. This isn't a fluffy quote for social media. It's the bedrock of emotional strength. You simply cannot give what you don't have, and love, authentic, lasting, fulfilling love, must grow from the inside out. It begins with knowing your needs, honoring your boundaries, and having the courage to show up as your full, unfiltered self. Think about it. Have you ever poured yourself into a relationship, being kind, patient, generous, only to feel like something's missing? Like you're invisible despite all you're doing? That disconnect isn't always about the other person. Sometimes it's a sign you haven't yet come home to yourself. Imagine standing before a fogged-up mirror. You know you're there, but your reflection is unclear. That's what happens when you haven't taken time to truly know yourself. You go through life hoping others will understand you, care for you, love you the way you long to be loved. But how can they if you haven't figured out what that looks like? Here's the hard truth. If you don't know who you are, no one else can know you either. You can't expect someone to love your true self if you haven't met that version of you. It's like handing someone a book with half the pages missing and expecting them to get the story. You wander through life hoping people will just get you, but they won't. Not because they don't care, but because they can't read what you haven't written. Think of that one-sided friendship where you're always there for them, but they're never quite there for you. It might not be selfishness. It might be that they don't know what you need. And honestly, you might not either. Self-awareness is like flipping on a light in a dim room. Suddenly things click. You notice what energizes you, what drains you, what feels like love, and what feels like duty. You stop waiting for others to fix you and start showing them how to support you, clearly and respectfully. You take charge of your emotional life. Recall a time you were upset and tried to explain why, but your partner didn't get it. It's frustrating. But sometimes it's not them missing the point. It's you not knowing how to express it. Were you craving space, reassurance, a hug, just someone to listen without fixing it? If you're not sure, how can they be? That's where the power of stoic love begins. When you stop seeking answers outside yourself and start listening within. When you know who you are, you stop expecting others to fill your emotional gaps. You stop clinging to validation and start giving, because you've already filled yourself up. And that's the kind of love that draws people in. When you show up whole, not broken, you invite others to love you for who you truly are, not who they hope you'll become. Here's something rarely said out loud. Love isn't meant to save you. It's not a cure for loneliness or a distraction from pain. It's not therapy, and it's not the answer to the emptiness inside. If you keep looking to someone else to fix you, you'll always feel let down. No one else is responsible for your healing. That's your work. And until you embrace that, you'll keep attracting relationships that feel close, but never quite right. Pause and reflect. When you felt most deeply loved, was it because you begged for affection? Or was it when love flowed naturally between two people already full within themselves? The deepest love is never forced. It happens when two emotionally whole people choose to share their strength, not their wounds. It's not about finding someone to complete you. It's about finding someone who complements the wholeness you've built. When you're secure in who you are, you don't just love better, you attract better. You become someone who doesn't need to be chased, only seen. and the right people will see you. Ever been in a relationship where you constantly waited for their attention, validation, or support? It's exhausting. Here's a wake-up call. Happiness isn't something someone else hands you. It's an inside job. If you rely on another person to make you feel whole, you'll always feel lacking. They have their own heart to tend to. They don't hold the key to yours. That doesn't mean love isn't magical. It is. But when you place your self-worth in someone else's hands, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. Here's a truth that might sting, but will set you free. No one is coming to save you. You are not half a whole. You are already complete. And from that place of fullness, you'll find love that's deep, lasting, and genuine. So where do we go from here? We turn inward. We slow down. We start the work of knowing ourselves fully. That's what we'll dive into next. How stoic wisdom builds inner resilience, and why learning to be alone might be the first step to loving yourself completely. Ready to keep going? In the last part, we uncovered a core truth. You cannot give from a depleted well. Until you fill yourself with self-knowledge, self-respect, and emotional clarity, no amount of outside love will ever feel like enough. Now we take the next step, letting go of what doesn't serve that love, starting with the art of detachment. Let's be clear. Detachment doesn't mean becoming cold, heartless, or emotionally distant. It doesn't mean pushing people away or acting like you don't care. It means stopping the habit of clinging to others as if they're your emotional lifeline. It means not tying your happiness to whether someone stays, responds a certain way, or meets your unspoken needs. Detachment isn't abandonment, it's freedom. It's the quiet confidence that your peace doesn't depend on holding someone tightly. Picture holding a bouquet of delicate flowers. The harder you grip, driven by fear of losing them, the more you damage them. You crush the petals, bend the stems, and strip away their beauty. That's what happens in relationships when expectations, anxiety, and dependency creep in. But loosen your grip just a bit, and suddenly, you're not destroying what you're trying to keep. You're cherishing it. You're letting it breathe, grow, and exist naturally. Detachment gives love room to flourish. But too often, we fall into the trap of thinking love means needing someone, to stay, to act a certain way, to love us exactly as we imagine. That's not love. That's control dressed up as romance. And when you try to control the story, you're not letting love write itself. True love thrives in freedom. It's rooted in trust, not the shaky trust that hinges on outcomes, but the deep trust in yourself and life's process. Detachment isn't about closing off. It's about opening up, freely, fully, without needing the other person to define your worth. You start loving generously, not anxiously. You stop waiting for someone to meet every emotional need and start meeting yourself where it matters most. That's when everything shifts. When you detach from outcomes and root yourself in self-worth, you stop making choices out of fear. You stop trying to avoid loss and start choosing what nourishes you. This opens the door to something just as powerful: vulnerability. For most of us, vulnerability feels like a risk we'd rather not take. We're taught to hide our wounds, mask our insecurities, and show a polished, perfect version of ourselves. But here's the paradox. Genuine connection only happens when we stop pretending and start showing up as our true, messy, honest selves. Recall a moment when someone shared something raw with you, a fear, a flaw, a truth they'd kept hidden. That moment likely brought you closer, not further apart. Why? Because vulnerability is magnetic. It's brave. When someone says, "This is me, no filter, no mask," it draws you in. Not because they're flawless, but because they're authentic. Vulnerability isn't about oversharing or breaking down in every conversation. It's about choosing honesty over image. It's saying, "I trust you enough to see the unpolished parts of me." That trust builds connection like nothing else. People can't love the true you if they've never met the true you. And here's something vital. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength, immense strength. It takes guts to speak your truth. It takes courage to say, "This is what I need. This is what I won't accept." Being vulnerable is about setting boundaries, not erasing them. It's standing tall in your worth, even when your voice trembles. So try this. Share a fear or dream you've kept hidden with someone you trust. Let them see your imperfect side. When you do, the love you receive won't be shallow or forced. It'll be true. And isn't that what you're truly after? It's not love that's polite, it's love that's honest. This brings us to a hidden barrier that quietly undermines connection: expectations. We all have them. Silent checklists in our minds about how people should act, what they should say, when they should apologize, how they should love us. But those expectations are ticking time bombs in relationships. They breed disappointment, resentment, and heartache. Not because people fail us, but because we've written scripts they never agreed to follow. It's like ordering shoes online, expecting a perfect fit, and then fuming when they're a size too small. They weren't made for you. They were made generically, yet you expected them to match your every curve. Love is the same. It's not tailored to your every demand. It's alive. It's unpredictable, and that's what makes it beautiful. When you cling to expectations, waiting for someone to love you in a specific way or hoping they'll change to fit your ideal, you miss the person right in front of you. You turn love into a contract, not a connection. But when you let go of those rigid shoulds and let people be who they are, something magical happens. You stop forcing, you start seeing, you begin to love in a way that accepts, not controls. Maybe you've twisted yourself into someone else's ideal before, or waited endlessly for someone to meet your vision of love. But here's the truth. We can't force anyone to love us the way we want. We can only be ourselves, open, flawed, authentic, and let them meet us where they are. When both people drop the checklist and meet in the messy middle, that's where true intimacy takes root. Because love isn't a perfect picture. It's a wild, unpredictable dance. It's not scripted. It doesn't always make sense. And that's exactly why it's true. When you let go of controlling the outcome and embrace the uncertainty, that's where connection begins. Raw, honest, and free. At the heart of all this is a truth we often overlook. The journey to love starts with the self. Deep, unconditional, radical self-acceptance. But what does that really look like? That's where we're headed next. In the next part, we'll explore what it means to embrace every part of yourself, flaws, failures, beauty, and all, and how this deep self-love unlocks the relationships you've been longing for. Are you ready to meet the most important person in your life? Earlier, we saw how letting go of unrealistic expectations opens the door to love that's authentic, effortless, and free. But what if I told you that all of this, self-awareness, vulnerability, detachment, won't matter if you don't first accept yourself fully and unapologetically? Self-acceptance starts with a quiet but powerful statement. I am who I am, and I'm okay with that. Not in a passive, stop growing way, but in a gentle, grounded acknowledgement that you're human. You have good days and bad ones. You have flaws, fears, quirks, and contradictions, and you are still worthy of love. That's what true self-love is. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about finding peace with imperfection. It's looking at the parts of yourself you've tried to hide and, instead of judging them, embracing them. You stop apologizing for who you are and start showing up as your true self. And something incredible happens. Love begins to flow, not the kind that's desperate for attention or validation, but genuine, steady, magnetic love. When you stop needing someone else to prove your worth, you enter every relationship with freedom. You're not hiding behind a curated version of yourself. You're not trying to fit a mold. You're just you. And ironically, that authenticity is what draws the right people to you. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you weren't enough? Like you had to shrink parts of yourself, be quieter, softer, less you? That exhausting feeling comes from a lack of self-acceptance. You were chasing approval instead of owning your truth. But when you love and accept yourself, you stop performing, you stop begging, you stop bending, you show up whole and invite others to do the same. Self-acceptance doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you stop fighting yourself. You don't punish yourself for not being perfect. You give yourself permission to be, to evolve, rest, laugh, fail. When you love yourself, even in the mess, love becomes effortless. The love you give is more genuine. The love you receive feels more fulfilling because it all flows from a place of honesty. Here's the truth. Self-acceptance isn't just the first step to better relationships. In many ways, it's the only step. Every healthy relationship, romantic, platonic, or otherwise, starts with a solid relationship with yourself. But let's not sugarcoat it. Love isn't always smooth. It's not all soft music and warm sunsets. Sometimes it's thunderstorms and broken umbrellas. And when things go wrong, as they will, what defines the strength of your love is your resilience. Resilience in love means showing up, even when it's tough. It's getting your heart broken and still choosing to open it again. It's being let down and refusing to give up on people or yourself. It's not pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's standing in the storm, feeling the discomfort, and choosing to move forward anyway. Think of a time someone disappointed you. You gave your all, and it didn't feel like enough. In those moments, you had two choices: fall apart or rise above. Wallowing might feel good briefly, but rising makes you stronger. The more resilient you become, the clearer you communicate your needs. You stop crumbling under pain. You learn from it, grow through it, and show others how to treat you along the way. People are drawn to resilience. There's something powerful about someone who's faced pain and still chooses love. And make no mistake, resilience doesn't mean being a doormat. It means knowing your limits. It means recognizing when to fight for love and when to walk away with dignity. Resilience isn't weakness, it's strength with wisdom. This leads us to something deeper. Love reflects your essence. The way you love, your actions, patience, honesty, mirrors who you are inside. You can't separate your values from your relationships. If you're bending your integrity to keep someone, that's not love, it's fear. Your character is the foundation of your relationships. Think of it like building a house. If the foundation is weak, no matter how beautiful the walls, the house won't stand. But if your foundation, your honesty, kindness, sense of self, is strong, love becomes lasting, not fleeting. It's grounded. It's true. You've probably heard people say, "I just want someone to love me for who I am." But how can they, if you don't know or show who that is? The more you commit to being your authentic self, the more aligned love you'll attract. You stop chasing it. You stop forcing it. Love comes because it's drawn to your truth, not your performance. So ask yourself, what values matter most to me? Am I living them daily? When you align your actions with your values, when your love reflects the character you've built within, something incredible happens. You stop fearing loss, you stop doubting your worth, and you start experiencing love that's honest, durable, and deeply fulfilling. Love that doesn't just feel right, it is right. Ultimately, the love you attract reflects the love you give yourself and the values you live by. If you've been building your inner world through self-awareness, vulnerability, detachment, and radical acceptance, you're already creating the foundation for love that's not just possible, but inevitable. Because love isn't about being completed, it's about showing up whole and sharing that wholeness with someone else. So stop waiting, stop chasing, start becoming. The love you've been searching for isn't out there. It's been inside you all along. And now that you see it, everything else is ready to fall into place. If there's one thing to take from this journey, it's this. You are not waiting for love, you are becoming it. When you build self-awareness, practice detachment, embrace your imperfections, and stand strong in your values, love stops being something you chase and becomes something you attract. You become the source. And from there, every relationship in your life transforms. If this video struck a chord, if it sparked something true, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you're on a journey of growth, emotional strength, and building a life rooted in truth and clarity, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming episodes. We drop 3 new videos every week, all designed to help you unlock a stoic, resilient, and deeply fulfilling mindset. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Until next time, stay grounded, stay honest. And remember, the strongest love always starts within. So let this be your reminder. You are not waiting to be loved. You are becoming love. The love you're seeking, the kind that's deep, lasting, and genuine, has been inside you all along. And once you embrace that, everything shifts. You stop chasing, you start choosing. You love not because you're empty, but because you're already full. If this video stirred something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Tell us in the comments, which part of this message hits home for you right now? And if you want to keep growing, stronger, clearer, more grounded, make sure to subscribe. We release 3 new videos every week to help you build a stoic mindset, emotional clarity, and lasting peace. Until next time, stay grounded, stay honest, and remember, the strongest love doesn't come from someone else. It starts with you.